Hello, and thank you for joining us for the BPM Change Management PRR Review Monthly Meeting. My name is Ryan Ayer, representing the Customer Readiness team here at the ISO, and I will be facilitating today's web conference. Today's call is being recorded. These recordings are for informational and convenience purposes only, and any related transcriptions should not be reprinted without the ISO's permission. As a reminder, these monthly calls are structured to stimulate an honest dialogue and engage different perspectives. While we welcome comments and questions, please remember to keep the comments professional and respectful. We will be taking questions throughout the call today, and if you are dialed in by phone only and not on the WebEx, you can enter the question queue at any time by pressing #2 on your telephone keypad. If you connected audio through the WebEx platform, please use the raise hand feature located above the chat box on the lower right-hand side of your screen. Please introduce yourself before asking your question. And if you need technical assistance during today's call, please send a chat message to the event producer. The purpose of today's meeting is to discuss the proposed revision requests that are in the initial or recommendation stage of the process. Today, we'll be discussing 5 PRRs, 4 are in the initial stage, and 1 is in the recommendation stage. All PRRs were submitted by the ISO. The purpose of BPMs is to set forth business practices that implement the ISO tariff. The ISO conducts a yearly policy initiative roadmap process to consider and rank initiatives. Policy changes submitted through the PRR process will be referred to the policy initiative roadmap process. And each subject area in a BPM is based on enabling language in the ISO tariff. The PRR process cannot be used to introduce changes that are not supported by the existing tariff authority. The first BPM we are covering today is Market Operations PRR number 1542. This PRR is in the recommendation stage, and Michael will be covering this slide. Michael, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Good morning, Michael Martin and Market Operations here at the ISO. So PRR 1542, the addition of regulation attenuation factors associated with the state of charge. And so this change was part of the energy storage enhancement project that went in last fall. This is actually an additional update to language that we had already submitted in PRR 1528 and 1530. So this is more clarifying language and a discussion on attenuation factor. Attenuation is what happens to batteries as they decline. So it's the factors that the market uses to determine the state of charge for that SOC constraint on ancillary services. We didn't get any comments, and the comment period expired January 19th. Next step is to post the final decision. Okay, I'll go ahead for this next one. It's in the Market Instruments BPM, and it's PRR 1546. It's the report in CMRI that shows the active constraint. This report actually was there all along. We honestly just forgot to update the BPM and disclose that this report was released. We did notify in the release notes and in the BRS of this report. This report shows whenever the market uneconomically dispatches a battery to maintain a state of charge for a future interval. Again, this PRI didn't get any comments, same comment period expiration, and our next step is to post the recommendation.
I'm Kaylee Zuberi, and I will be going over the first PRR 1543, site exclusivity demonstration clarifications. The reason for this revision is site exclusivity requirements clarification affecting the site exclusivity deposit, the site exclusivity demonstration form, and the acreage reasonably required for specific types of generation. Initial comments we received were from Terragem and Golden State Clean Energy. The comment period expired on the 19th, and our next step is to post the recommendation.
Hello, this is Dawn Wilson, PR 1544, non-load serving entity power purchase agreement clarifications was submitted to clarify the ISO's practice of reviewing power purchase agreements with non-load serving entity off-takers to ensure that they comport with the CAISO's tariff and purpose. We did not receive any initial comments during the comment period that ended January 19th, and the next step is to post a recommendation. We also have PRR 1545, interim deliverability allocation to projects in operation clarification. This PRR clarifies that the TP deliverability allocation date or distributed generation deliverability allocation date will be used to determine interim deliverability allocation priority. We did not receive any comments in the comment period that expired January 19th, and the next step is to post a recommendation.
Thank you, Dawn. Any questions from the attendees on any of the PRRs that we've covered today?
We do have some hands raised. Your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
This is Grant Glazer with Emanate Energy. I see that I'm unmuted, so I'll go ahead and ask the first of what might be a couple hopefully straightforward questions. First off, thank you, CAISO, for the opportunity to engage in the BPM change process and ask these questions today. A couple questions specific to the one that's currently on the slides, PRR 1545. First, could you please clarify where we're at in the process of this proposed change and what steps we'll go through before the rule becomes implemented?
We're in the initial period. So after this meeting, we will post a recommendation, and you are welcome to go onto the change management page and submit comments there if you have any comments on what we're proposing as a change to the BPM.
Got it. And then after the recommendation and comment phase, will it be, is that when a final decision on the rule or revision would be made?
After that we post the recommendation, then there would be a final decision, and then it would be effective after that next meeting. But the ones that are in final decision aren't discussed in the BPM meetings, the monthly meetings. So if there's something that you want to bring up, today would be the day, or the meeting that's going to come up in February.
Understood. So thank you. The next meeting would be February. That would be the recommendation. And then is there any opportunity to engage with the CAISO or the decision-making process between February's meeting and when the final decision is made, or is that just maybe the last round of comments?
You can submit written comments to us, but the opportunity to engage at this type of meeting will have passed.
Got it. Thank you. I'm going to lower my hand for now. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Were there any other questions or hands raised?
We have one more. Emily, you are unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hi, this is Emily Hughes with NextEra. On the last 3 for generator interconnection, I was wondering what the effective dates would be for all 3 of the PRRs.
Does somebody from the PRR team have that date? I know it would be the date of the meeting in March, but I don't have that on my calendar yet. So I think it would be probably the 3rd week or the last week of March.
Thanks, Don. I can look that up.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, Emily.
No worries.
This is Nicole. So I was on mute. I apologize. But the March meeting is on March 26th.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right. Any other questions from any of the attendees on the line?
We have it. Grant, you are unmuted. Please go ahead.
Thanks. So yeah, given your clarification, Don, which I appreciate, I just wanted to offer a little bit of color on comments that Emanate had intended to submit and will plan to submit in the next round on PRR 1545. So everything that I'm going to say will be in the written comments, but I just wanted to give an opportunity to air some of these concerns out loud and at the outset welcome any further conversation from folks on this call as would be helpful. So we at Emanate understand that this proposed rule change, PRR 1545, intends to correct a fairness issue with interim deliverability allocation. That said, we think that this should be balanced with concerns around existing project commitments, as well as marketplace integrity, both of which contribute to market efficiency and reliability. Specifically, we have a concern that changing rules that would have material impacts to the underwrites of existing projects, many of which have commercial arrangements that are already in place, and that were structured based on the current and prevailing set of rules, can basically pose a risk to those projects being able to move forward. Further, this can increase the perceived regulatory risk in the CAISO marketplace, and therefore, in both the near term and over the long run, lead to higher underwriting costs. So I'm going to skip most of the bulk of what will be in the comments, but in short, we would strongly urge the CAISO to retain the existing status quo rules for all TPD allocations that have been made to date, and to only change these rules or on a prospective basis. That is beginning with TPD allocations in the 2024 year, and the same would be true for allocations made for projects that are distribution connected. We think that prospective implementation would sort of thread the needle here in dealing with the fairness issue that CAISO has identified in proposing this rule change, while also respecting existing project arrangements and minimizing the associated attrition risk of projects. So that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions that folks might have now or speak further about this at a later time. Thanks again for the opportunity to speak.
Okay, thank you. We look forward to seeing your comments in writing, and we will address them appropriately with the next turn.
And then we also have a note for an additional PRR. I believe Michael is going to speak on PRR number 1548.
Yes, thanks. So PRR 1548, it's out there. It did not make this presentation. It was just submitted last week. But I wanted to draw folks' attention to it. It describes a new process that we're establishing for setting wheel-through priority that we're implementing in June. So this is the first PRR on this process. It's a project here. It's called TSMSP. It stands for Transmission Service Market Service Priority. And what we're doing is we are redesigning the wheel-through process. In today's world, you have to give us 45 days advance notice and have firm transmission for like a full calendar month. We now have a far more robust, aggressive, process where it's in a monthly, up to 12 months in advance, and even down to a daily time frame. So for those folks that your shop might do some wheel throughs, please take a look. Again, it's PRR 1548. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Michael. All right, moving on. The next BPM meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 20th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at bpm_cm@kaiso.com. And that concludes our meeting for today. Thank you all.